All right, get ready to dive into the world of programming.
But not just the coding stuff you might expect.
Right, we're getting into the human side of tech this time.
Those soft skills everyone's always talking about.
Yeah, the ones that can really make or break your career,
Especially
especially if you're thinking about
if you've got your eyes set on those big,
like FA&G level companies.
right, those big companies, exactly.
So we've got a fantastic article to dig into today.
It was published pretty recently on October 21st, 2024.
Fresh off the press, practically.
And it's called Essential Soft Skills for Programmers Beyond the Code.
Catchy title.
So,
let's forget that image of the lone coder,
yeah.
you know,
Headphones on in the basement.
in the basement, no windows,
Ignoring the world.
ignoring the world, just coding all day.
This is about leveling up, you know,
I-
beyond the code.
Even if you think you're not a people person.
Yeah, even if you're like, ugh, people.
Definitely something in here for everyone.
Yeah.
So the article kicks things off with something pretty fundamental.
Communication.
Communication, yeah, we all know it's important.
But
I
it's
think-
something in this field.
Yeah, especially in tech.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all been in those meetings where it's like,
Someone's trying to explain something super technical
it
and
just goes
right over everyone's head.
over everyone's heads.
Yeah.
How does this work for programmers specifically?
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Miscommunication on a coding project.
Uh-oh.
That's not just a misunderstanding.
Right.
It could be wasted hours.
Used to time, yeah.
Missed deadlines,
Yeah.
even bugs in production.
Oof. Yeah, no one wants to be responsible for that.
So it's not just about, you know, talking to other programmers.
Right. It's about being able to
It's about explaining things clearly
anyone.
to anyone. Like, imagine you're building some critical feature
Yeah.
for a website,
All right.
but you can't communicate the technical stuff to the design team.
Oh, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And then you've got a beautiful design that doesn't actually work.
A beautiful design that doesn't work, that's the worst.
Total nightmare.
So how do we get better at this?
No.
Do we all need to take public speaking classes?
It's not really about being a polished speaker.
Okay.
It's more about breaking down complex ideas into digestible chunks.
Okay. Making it simple.
The article gives this great tip.
Oh, yeah.
Practice explaining technical concepts to someone who knows nothing about programming.
Oh, like my grandma.
Exactly, like explain a hash table to your grandma.
Okay, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I think I'd end up comparing it to like a really well-organized
Filing cabinet.
filing cabinet. Yeah.
Or those old library card catalogs.
Yes, exactly.
Say.
I'm already thinking about it.
You're already thinking about how to make it relatable.
That's the key, I guess.
The more you practice this,
Yeah.
the better you'll be at bridging that gap.
Between the technical...
The technical and the non-technical.
Right. Because at the end of the day, we're building things.
Yeah.
Real people are going to use.
And if we can't communicate effectively,
Doesn't matter how good our code is.
it doesn't matter how brilliant it is.
Right.
Nobody will know.
Speaking of brilliant code.
Let's move on
Yeah.
to another important skill.
All right, hit me.
Problem solving.
Okay. Yeah, problem solving.
We all know.
Programming
Yeah.
is basically problem solving.
Yeah, half the time, just getting the code to work
Well, yeah.
feels like a major victory.
It really is.
What are they saying we should do beyond that?
It's about a mindset, you know?
Okay.
It goes beyond just fixing the bugs.
Beyond just fixing the bugs. Okay.
It's about approaching complex issues
Yeah.
systematically
Systematically, all right.
and creatively,
Okay.
thinking several steps ahead, anticipating problems.
So, like, not just patching the leak,
Right.
but figuring out why the pipes are leaking in the first place.
Exactly. Why are the pipes leaking? And how to prevent it from happening again.
Anyone can put a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
But a true problem solver
Yeah.
diagnoses the root cause and finds a lasting solution.
That's what we want.
And the article actually recommends using platforms like AlgoCademy,
AlgoCademy.
not just for coding interviews, but
interesting.
to flex your problem-solving muscles.
I always thought of those sites as just for interview prep.
Yeah.
Like grinding out leak code problems.
Yeah.
How would that help with general problem solving?
Think of it like marathon training.
Okay.
You're not just memorizing the route.
Right.
You're building endurance,
Gotcha.
learning pacing strategies, strengthening your mental game.
Okay. I like that analogy.
AlgoCademy or similar platforms can help you do that
Okay.
for your problem solving.
Train your brain.
You start to see patterns, you know,
Yeah.
break down problems into smaller pieces,
Right. Smaller, manageable chunks.
and develop that algorithmic thinking.
That's so important. And
Any technical field. Yeah. any technical field.
I'm starting to see how this all ties together.
Yeah.
The better you are at breaking down problems,
Okay.
thinking algorithmically,
Yeah.
the more prepared you'll be for those complex challenges
Exactly.
that inevitably come up in a real project.
It's not just about finding the solution.
Right.
It's about finding an elegant solution.
Elegant and efficient.
And that's where things like understanding different sorting algorithms come in.
Right, understanding those.
Or mastering data structures.
Hash tables, trees, all that good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Okay, I'm sold. AlgoCademy just got bumped up on my to-do list.
I love to hear that.
So we've got communication, problem solving, down next.
Well, considering how quickly the tech world changes,
Yeah,
adaptability's got to be up there.
adaptability is huge.
We're talking new languages,
Frameworks.
new methodologies. It's constantly evolving.
Yeah, I remember when I first started learning to code, jQuery was all the rage. And now, well, let's just say things have moved on.
Things have definitely moved on.
It can feel like a race to keep up sometimes
Yeah.
with all the new trends.
She feels like every week there's something new.
I know, right?
But the article makes a good point.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed by the change.
Okay, easier said than done.
It's not about becoming an expert in every new thing that pops up.
Right, because that's impossible.
It's impossible. There's just too much.
Yeah.
It's about being comfortable.
Comfortable with picking things up.
Yeah, picking things up as you go.
Okay, I like that.
Having that growth mindset.
Growth mindset, yeah.
Embrace the learning.
So instead of freaking out every time a new JavaScript framework comes out,
Right.
it's more about being like, okay, let's dive in and see what this is all about.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
And it's not just about keeping your skills sharp.
So there's more to it.
It's about being open
Right.
to new ideas.
Open to new ideas. Okay.
New approaches to solving problems.
That's right.
New ways of thinking about your work.
So adaptability is like the ultimate life hack.
It is. It's what lets us thrive.
Thrive in this crazy tech
And
world.
it's just survive, but thrive.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, speaking of surviving, let's talk about something
Okay.
that can be a real struggle,
What's that?
especially when we're juggling
Yeah.
multiple projects.
Projects and deadlines.
Time management,
Ah, yes. Time management
eternal battle.
against overflowing to-do lists
Right.
and the feeling of always being behind.
Ugh, the worst.
The article emphasizes that
Oh,
mastering time management isn't just about getting things done.
okay. So there's more to it.
It's about reducing stress
I like that.
and improving the quality of your work.
I feel like this is something I'm always working on.
It's a constant struggle.
Some days I'm crushing it,
Yeah,
and other days I'm barely keeping my head above water.
I know that feeling.
What specific tips does the article offer for time management?
Okay, so they mentioned
Because I'm all ears.
a couple techniques that I find really helpful.
Okay, I'm ready.
One is the Pomodoro technique.
Okay.
Have you heard of that one?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's all about breaking down your work
Okay.
into focused intervals.
Like, how long are we talking?
Usually like 25 minutes,
25 minutes. Okay.
separated by short breaks.
Oh, yeah. I actually downloaded a Pomodoro timer app once.
Did you?
I think I just ended up using it to time my coffee breaks, though.
Well, hey, even a coffee break can be more effective with some structure.
True, true.
The idea is that
Why
these
not?
short bursts of focused work
Okay,
with regular breaks to kind of clear your head
right, to reset.
can actually make you more productive overall.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get so stuck on a problem
Yeah.
that I forget to take a break.
I know. It's easy to get tunnel vision.
Next thing I know, it's like 3 p.m. and I haven't eaten lunch.
Exactly. And that's how you burn out.
Yeah, burnout is not good.
Not a good recipe for brilliant code.
No.
The other technique they mentioned is the Eisenhower matrix.
Okay, the Eisenhower matrix.
Yeah. Have you heard of that one?
I feel like I've heard of that.
It's about prioritizing your tasks
Okay.
based on urgency and importance.
So it's like you make a grid, right?
Exactly.
With like urgent and not urgent.
Yep.
Important and not important.
You got it.
So you can see what needs attention like right now.
Right. What needs to happen immediately,
And then what can be maybe scheduled for later.
or even what can be ditched altogether.
Oh, the things that can be ditched. I like that quadrant.
It's a good one.
So this would be really helpful for programmers
Yeah.
who have like a million things going on at once.
Especially when you're juggling projects.
Right. Bug fixes, feature requests, the whole 9 yards.
Time management is not just about being organized.
Okay, so it's more than just using a calendar.
It's about protecting your mental energy.
Oh, that's a good point.
You're constantly feeling rushed,
Yeah,
overwhelmed.
I could do your best work.
You're not going to produce that brilliant code.
It's like trying to code while juggling chainsaws.
That's a great visual.
Not exactly conducive to elegant solutions.
Not at all.
But when you manage your time well,
Right.
you give yourself the space to think clearly.
Explore different approaches.
Yeah.
And ultimately write cleaner, more efficient code.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Good.
Time to dust off those time management techniques.
Yeah, put them into practice.
Now let's move on to another skill that's crucial,
All right.
especially as you start working on bigger, more complex projects.
Okay, what's that?
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Oh, yeah.
And teamwork in programming.
It's more than just sharing code.
Right. More than just code reviews.
It's about recognizing that everyone brings different things to the table.
Different strengths, different perspectives.
And the best solutions come from collaboration.
Bouncing ideas off each other.
Willingness to learn from each other.
Yeah, I feel like there's this stereotype
Oh, yeah.
of programmers being like lone wolves.
Team-based.
Yeah, but the reality is so much of what we build is a team effort.
Absolutely. It's a team sport.
Like, think about building a complex web app.
Okay. Yeah.
You've got front-end devs, back-end devs.
UX designers, QA testers.
It's like a whole orchestra.
It really is.
And if one part's out of sync,
the whole thing suffers.
right, it's like that old saying,
That's that.
if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together.
I love that.
And the article actually gives a really cool suggestion
Oh, yeah. What's that?
for how to level up your teamwork skills.
Okay.
Contribute to open source projects.
Open source, that's a good one.
I've dabbled in open source a bit myself.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much you can learn
What have you learned?
from working with other developers from all over the world.
It's like a masterclass in collaboration.
It really is.
You get to see different coding styles,
different approaches,
different ways of communicating.
different ways of resolving conflicts.
Yeah.
And it's not just about technical skills.
Right.
It's about learning how to give and receive feedback,
Yeah, constructive feedback.
how to navigate different personalities,
Different working styles.
how to contribute to something bigger than yourself.
It's a crash course in all those soft skills.
All those soft skills.
Communication, problem solving, adaptability.
They all come into play when you're working on a team.
Especially in a field like tech.
That's moving so fast.
It's always changing.
So contributing to open source.
Yeah,
It's like a win-win.
it is.
You're giving back,
Building your skills.
potentially making some connections.
Yeah, valuable connections.
Speaking of valuable connections,
Okay, let's talk about...
let's talk about a soft skill
All right.
that might seem a bit unexpected
Okay.
in the context of programming.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Empathy.
Empathy.
Okay, I'll admit that one threw me for a loop too when I first saw it on the list.
I mean, I get why it's important in general.
In general, but like, how does that apply to writing code?
Right. We're not social workers.
Exactly. We're not therapists.
But trust me, it's crucial.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's about understanding the needs of the people who will use the things we build.
Okay, so stepping outside our own little technical bubble.
Putting yourself in the user's shoes.
So it's about asking ourselves,
Right.
if I were using this,
Yeah.
how would I want it to work?
What would make this easier to use?
What would make this more intuitive?
How can I make this enjoyable?
Yeah, enjoyable and accessible.
For everyone to use.
I can see how that would make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Especially for user experience.
Nobody wants to use software that's clunky or confusing.
Or frustrating.
It's just a bad experience.
And a lot of times that comes from,
A lack of empathy.
yeah, where the developer was so focused on the technical side,
They forgot about the human using it.
they didn't stop to think about the person on the other end.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense.
So how do we practice empathy as programmers?
Yeah, do we need to like shadow users or something?
It can be as simple as asking yourself a few questions
Okay.
during the design process.
Right.
Like the article suggests, put yourself in the user's shoes.
Okay.
What are their goals?
What are their frustrations?
What would make their lives easier?
So it's about approaching the design.
From a place of understanding.
Yeah, instead of just ticking off requirements.
It's about crafting an experience.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here.
Good.
Empathy isn't just some fluffy concept.
It's a key skill
It's a critical skill for creating software.
that people actually want to use.
Exactly, software that people actually enjoy using.
And speaking of creating things people want to use,
Now to talk about
let's talk about another skill.
another soft skill,
Creativity.
creativity.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're really making me think.
I know, it's not the first thing that comes to mind.
I always thought of programming as very logical,
Yeah.
very left-brained.
Left-brained, analytical.
Where does creativity fit in?
It fits in more than you might think.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Creativity in programming is about finding elegant solutions.
Elegant solutions. Okay.
Writing code that's not just functional,
Yeah.
but also beautiful
Beautiful code. Interesting.
and efficient.
So it's not just about getting it to work.
Right.
It's about getting it to work well.
It's about the craftsmanship.
Okay, I like that.
So imagine two programmers
Yep.
solving the same problem.
Right.
One writes code that's clunky, hard to read,
Yeah.
barely gets the job done.
Okay.
The other writes code that's clean, concise, almost poetic.
Like a work of art.
Exactly.
It's like the difference between a functional but messy IKEA bookshelf
Yeah.
and a handcrafted piece of furniture that's both beautiful and functional.
That's a great analogy.
And that's where creativity comes in.
Finding that elegant solution.
The article even mentions exploring different programming paradigms.
That's a good way to spark new ideas.
What does that mean exactly?
So think about different ways to approach a problem.
Okay.
You could use object-oriented programming, functional programming,
Okay.
even something like logic programming.
Right. Different approaches.
Each paradigm offers a different way of thinking about your code.
So it's like expanding your toolbox.
Exactly.
The more tools you have.
The more creative you can be.
Okay, that makes sense.
And sometimes just trying a new paradigm can lead to a breakthrough.
Like stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, getting out of that rut.
I'm starting to see how creativity can be a real asset.
It's a secret weapon.
Not just for writing code.
For crafting elegant solutions.
And speaking of crafting things with care,
let's talk about
let's not forget about
attention to detail.
Oh, attention to detail.
Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of overlooking that one sometimes.
We all are.
I've spent countless hours debugging. Only to find it was a missing semicolon.
Oh, the missing semicolon.
Or a misspelled variable name.
It's always the little things.
Talk about frustrating.
It's a good reminder that even the smallest details matter.
Especially when you're dealing with complex systems.
The devil's is in the details.
And attention to detail isn't just about avoiding errors.
You're right.
It's about writing clean code.
Maintainable code.
That other people can understand.
Or even your future self.
Yeah, because nobody wants to inherit a code base.
That's a tangled mess.
That looks like spaghetti code.
Exactly, a big bowl of spaghetti.
So when you pay attention to the detail,
formatting,
naming conventions,
habits,
you're not just writing code.
You're building a piece of software.
That's both functional and maintainable.
It's like building a house with a solid foundation.
Versus just slapping something together.
And hoping for the best.
And hoping it doesn't fall apart.
Exactly.
And attention to detail is a skill you can develop.
It is. You can practice it.
The article mentions some tools.
Like linters.
Linters, yeah.
Code quality checkers.
Those can be so helpful.
They can save you so much time.
Catch those errors early on.
Before they become big problems.
I've learned that the hard way.
We all have.
Better to catch a missing semicolon early.
Than to spend hours debugging later.
And the cool thing is,
yeah,
attention to detail can bleed into other areas of your life.
That's true.
You start catching errors in emails, noticing inconsistencies.
Just being more mindful in general.
It's like a superpower.
It is. It's a valuable skill.
That extends beyond code.
It helps you in all aspects of life.
All right, so we've covered communication, problem solving, adaptability,
time management, teamwork, empathy,
creativity, attention to detail.
What else?
Oh, there's one more.
One more big one.
That's crucial for staying ahead of the curve.
In this ever-changing tech world.
Continuous learning.
Continuous learning's so important.
It feels like there's something new to learn every day.
It really does.
New framework, new language, new methodology.
The tech landscape is constantly evolving.
And if you're not learning, you're falling behind.
But it's not just about staying relevant.
So there's more to it than that.
It's about feeding your curiosity.
Curiosity, okay.
Expanding your knowledge.
Expanding your knowledge, yeah.
Opening yourself up to new possibilities.
I love that.
It's not about feeling pressured to learn the latest thing.
Right.
It's about the joy of discovery.
The excitement of learning.
Exactly.
The article gives some great suggestions for continuous learning.
Like what?
Setting aside time for reading tech blogs.
Attending conferences, webinars.
Even just experimenting with new technologies in your free time.
It's all about making it a habit.
Yeah, I find that even just 30 minutes a day
can make a big difference.
Reading articles, watching tutorials.
It's like a mental workout.
It keeps your brain sharp.
And the beauty of it is, it's a never-ending journey.
There's always something new to learn.
Always a new challenge.
So it's not about reaching a destination.
It's about the journey.
I like that.
And the more you embrace that journey,
the more opportunities will open up.
Exactly. It's all about growth.
All right, so we've covered a ton of ground here.
We have. We've gone deep.
We've talked about the essential soft skills for programmers.
Why they're so important.
And even how to start developing them.
What's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that being a great programmer isn't just about the code.
It's not just about technical skills.
It's about developing a well-rounded skill set.
That includes those soft skills.
Because at the end of the day,
it's the combination
of technical brilliance
and human-centered thinking
That allows us to build truly exceptional things.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And speaking of exceptional things,
Okay.
there's one area where these soft skills can really make a difference,
Where's that?
especially if you're aiming for those coveted FA-ing positions.
Oh, yeah, those big companies.
Technical interviews.
Technical interviews, everyone's favorite.
They can be daunting.
Even for experienced programmers.
But by focusing on those soft skills,
Yeah.
you can not only survive the interview,
It can thrive.
so it's not just about acing the coding challenges.
It's not just about the whiteboard problem.
It's about showcasing your communication skills,
Your problem-solving abilities.
your adaptability.
Your empathy.
Technical interviews are as much about assessing your ability to think critically
Communicate effectively.
and collaborate with others.
It's a holistic evaluation.
So how can our listeners apply these soft skills?
To the interview process.
What tips or strategies would you recommend?
First and foremost, remember communication is key.
Communication is always key.
Practice explaining your thought process,
Clearly and concisely.
even when you're under pressure.
Okay, that's tough.
Don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions and listen attentively to the interviewer.
So this is a two-way conversation,
It should be a dialogue.
not just a one-sided interrogation.
The interviewer wants to see how you think,
Okay,
how you approach problems,
right.
how you interact with others.
They're not just looking for a coding robot,
They want a well-rounded individual.
someone who can contribute to a team.
Solve problems collaboratively.
Makes sense.
What about problem solving?
Yeah, how can we demonstrate that during an interview?
Practice those problems on sites like AlgoCademy,
AlgoCademy. Yeah.
but don't just memorize solutions.
Okay.
Understand the concepts
The underlying concepts.
and be able to apply them to new problems.
So it's about showing that you can think on your feet.
Adapt to new situations.
Don't be afraid to talk through your thought process,
The interviewer wants to see how you break things down,
how you consider different approaches.
how you arrive at a solution.
That's a good tip. Sometimes I get so focused on finding the right answer
Yeah.
that I forget to explain my reasoning.
But remember, they're not just evaluating the answer,
They're evaluating the approach,
the thought process.
a communication.
Exactly.
Okay, so communication and problem solving are key.
What about adaptability?
How do we showcase that?
Technical interviews often have unexpected twists and turns.
Oh, yeah, they like to throw curveballs.
You might be asked to use a language you're not familiar with,
Oh, that's scary.
or a framework you've never seen before.
Or a problem that requires a really creative solution.
So be comfortable with stepping outside your comfort zone.
Embrace the unknown,
Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn.
right? Or, I've never done this before, but let's figure it out together.
Exactly.
It's okay to not know everything.
It's more important to be a quick learner.
And to be willing to tackle new challenges.
They're not looking for someone who knows everything.
They're looking for someone who's curious
Resourceful.
and adaptable.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got communication, problem solving, adaptability.
What about those other soft skills?
How do they come into play?
Teamwork is often assessed through collaborative exercises
Like pair programming.
or group problem solving.
Okay, so they're watching how you interact with others.
Empathy can be demonstrated by considering the user's perspective
Right, thinking about how your solution will impact the end user.
and showing genuine interest in the interviewer's feedback,
So it's about being mindful of the human element.
even in a technical setting,
Don't forget about attention to detail.
and time management.
Right, clean code, well organized.
No errors.
Allocate your time wisely.
Prioritize effectively.
It's like a performance, showcasing all your skills.
It's your chance to shine.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes.
I'm glad to hear that.
Being a great programmer isn't just about the code.
It's about the whole package.
Those soft skills are the secret sauce.
They can take you from good to exceptional.
And the best part is, they're transferable,
You can use them in any field.
so the time you invest in developing them,
It will pay off in the long run.
no matter where your career takes you.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, I think we've thoroughly explored the world of soft skills,
We've covered a lot of ground.
why they're important, how to develop them,
I hope our listeners feel empowered.
to level up their own skills.
The tech world needs more than just coders.
We need well-rounded individuals.
Who can communicate, collaborate, and create.
Solutions that make a difference.
I couldn't agree more.
So for all of you listening out there,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with a challenge.
Okay, what's the challenge?
Which of these soft skills do you need to work on the most?
What's that one skill?
That you want to level up?
And what's one step you can take this week to start doing that?
Write it down, make a plan, take action.
Even small steps can lead to big changes.
Keep learning, keep growing, Keep pushing yourselves,
Become the best programmers you can be.
both technically and personally.
That's the goal.
And until next time.
Happy coding.